What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with a Monday edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Kind of a weird Sunday. Ended up on the Cardinals money line at plus money. They end up converting that one late in the ninth inning. And then I get reversed ninth inning by the New York Mets here just about 2 seconds ago. So that was painful. Thanks, guys. Jackson Merrill walk-off bomb. Probably good for those tickets. Again, I ended up right around plus 400 when I bought in. Eitan Shander has like a 40-1 ticket on him to win NL Rookie of the Year. It's basically him and Paul Skeens. And got to think Jackson Merrill playing every single day and then also just hitting back-to-back walk-off bombs or whatever it was. You hit two pretty frequently here. And then, coming into today, you had Paul Skeens get the news that he's going to be getting really limited with his innings going forward. We'll talk about him later in the week. He'll be showing up in our lives and see if there's anything we can take advantage of there. But we've got 11 games. We actually have a simulated beginning. Well, not a simulated beginning. It is a pickup game for Toronto and Boston to finish out a game that has already started, where Danny Jansen is going to be catching at the at-bat that he was previously a part of. Lots of weird stuff going on Monday, but I'm going to break it all down for you in depth and a doubleheader there. Kansas City and Cleveland. Huge series with huge playoff implications in that AL Central. But we'll talk about 365 first. Boop! Pennsylvania, tough actin' Tenactin. Bet 5, get 150 in bonus bets and 50 spins on the old virtual slot machines. You sign up down at the link below. Take advantage of it. We'll talk about it later as well. But wanted to get you a head start in case you hadn't taken advantage. Only for 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But producer Jacob's back from an awesome weekend up in the north. It's like 30 hours he's basically in Seattle. Great stuff. He's back in the home base. I'm back at the home base, and without further ado, we got a doubleheader to cover. Let's get to the facts. Game number 1, Cole Ragans. And then there's a couple of different conflicting reports on what is going on here. All I know is that I saw plus money on Cole Ragans, and this is just absurd. This is like really, really absurd. Probably my favorite spot that we've had on one of these doubleheaders all season long. We're talking Cole Ragans versus potentially Sandlin, which, again, I don't know if he ends up being the official guy, but it's kind of like conflicting reports. Nick Sandlin, 11.3% barrel percentage, 42.6% hard hit, high far contact. And Kansas City tends to hit the ball high and far, especially with Sweet Melendez starting to come alive. Hunter Renfroe on Friday, Sal Perez as well. Bobby Witt, if he could have converted, I actually had a small little parlay on the three of them, all the main righties in that Kansas City lineup against Taijuan Walker. Taijuan really did not want to give Bobby Witt anything to hit, that's for sure. It's understandable. But we've got ourselves an interesting one. If it ends up being Logan Allen in this one and not in the second game, all I know is that we're going to get Allen pitching one of the two. We're going to get Ragans pitching one of the two here. And this is where I really think you're going to be paying attention to the second game and the bullpen usage of Cleveland, because you're only going to be able to utilize one time around the main featured items of this Cleveland pen. I'm talking specifically, you know the guys at this point in time. Everybody across the board, just such a pivotal part here for the Guardians. But with Cole Ragans getting the start, I have no clue how this is the price that we're getting on this kind of a mismatch between the pitchers. I really don't. Cole Ragans, I could see a lot of situations where they're up 1-2 runs later into this game. And is Cole Ragans coming off of giving up 4 to the Angels? That doesn't inspire crazy confidence, but 3.31 ERA, 1.15 whip. And I repeat, you will only have Cleveland utilize their main pieces of the bullpen: Emmanuel Clase, Hunter Gaddis, Cade Smith, Scott Barlow, who pitched 15 pitches on Saturday there. You're only going to be able to utilize all of these guys one time between the two games. So I'm going to be buying into Kansas City money line here. I think there's a lot of ways where they're up early in this game and you want to be invested. Again, plus money is just wild to me with these two guys on the bump. But this is going to be a Cleveland money line on game 2 as a lean, purely because I think that between this mismatch, Marsh, Allen, I think we have a better chance of seeing those main boppers because there's more scenarios where they're up later into the game. Alec Marsh really, really struggling. Logan Allen really, really struggling. I think this is a very, very aggressive spot that we want to be invested, because Kansas City and Cleveland, we know they're going to roll out their best lineups both games. It is way too tightly contested in that AL Central, and it is way too important of a doubleheader. So be on high alert because there are going to be a lot of live bet opportunities where I think we can make some money, or reacting to, oh, did Clase just enter this game in game 1? Let's jump on the Kansas City side potentially in game 2. So be very aware of that bullpen. Cleveland, probably the most important bullpen for any team in all of baseball. Whew, we had a lot to cover there in that first doubleheader, but we head to Chicago and Pittsburgh, and this one's very clear-cut for me. Jameson Taillon, Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller, we're not going to really be picking on all that much here this season. I've tried at times, pretty unfortuitous at times, but 21.3% K rate doesn't impress me all that much, but everything across the board for him does. He's throwing like 5-6 different pitches: four-seamer, sinker, cutter, slider, change curve. Like, I don't know. The change is like 1% usage, but 37.4% hard hit, 309 xWOBA, 6.4% walk rate. Shout out him for having a second great comeback Keller season. So there you go. As for Jameson Taillon, the one thing that does concern me with this game for Keller on the other side too, wind's blowing out here in Pittsburgh, and PNC Park, not the most homer friendly in all the land, but Jameson Taillon does give up fly ball contact, and that is when you really want to be aggressively in on homers on the other side if the price is right. And it seems as though Yasmani Grandal goes yard again today, up to 7 on the season. Good for him. Brian Reynolds, though, Brian De La Cruz, and O'Neal Cruz all make sense as main candidates. I like the O'Neal Cruz one. We've seen him actually kind of sent down to like the 6-hole here at a couple of times. I am going to wait for the lineup position. It is going to drastically change. Batting second and batting sixth changes my projections in a pretty prominent fashion, because you're talking about the difference between like 4.4 at-bats and 4.8 at-bats. And when you change that, well, yeah, it helps when you're looking for an individual event, 1 home run. You really want him up in the 2-hole if you can, but anything better than plus 390, if he's in the 2-hole, in the 6-hole, it would have to be better than plus 470. That's what I've got for you. I'm going to be sticking to it, but pretty good homer opportunity for those lefties in Pittsburgh. Ronel Blanco and Zach Wheeler on the, well, they're both on the bump. That's how this works. They're pitching. Houston and Philly. This is a tough one to get next to because Wheeler and Blanco are really, really good. Yordan Alvarez, though, not in the lineup on Sunday night here for this baseball game that is, like 5 minutes underway. I didn't end up doing anything with it because I just didn't really like the line, and it was just so weird. Also, Baltimore's lineup up against lefties just doesn't look all that appealing. Having Austin Slater up there, whatever. Well, do we talk about them a little bit later? Is Baltimore on the card? Nope, they are not. So we will not talk about it later. We'll talk about it on Tuesday a little bit if they're facing a lefty, I suppose. But under 8, just going to be a lean for me here because Blanco, yeah, it's probably not going to be as good as what it's been through the first half of the season for him. But even if he regresses ever so slightly, I like what we've seen from him. 3.14 ERA, 1.06 whip. And Zach Wheeler's just nails, especially this time of season as it starts to cool down a little bit. 2.74 ERA, 0.98 whip. You go to Philly for tomorrow. It's not cool by any means, but I'm just saying it's going to get better and better and better for him. How about this team, the New York Yankees, to get blown out on Saturday by Colorado and then come back and blow them out, Colorado out. You got a lot better price on the Colorado money line side than you would have on the Yankees, but I'm sure everybody and their dog was on that run line today. And how about Aaron Judge? 50 homers now. Bing, bada, boom. Hits 2 of them. I think up to 51 here now. Unbelievable stuff between him, Soto, and then I think the X factor for this team, Giancarlo Stanton, batting 5th routinely here. And the main point that I want to make here is that you're going to see very, very, very scared lefties for the near future here. Juan Soto, left on left, still very, very effective. And then, yeah, Judge has been better against righties from a power perspective the last couple, but Giancarlo Stanton likes himself some lefties. 530 expected slugging, 53.7% hard hit, and the launch angle, 14.3 degree. I mean, all 3 of those guys are going to be people we could put on the card any single day, ending in Y, but I looked at the left on left here for Soto. I don't think it's as appealing for me facing his former team. Mitchell Parker, though, he's an equal opportunity lender to left and to righties, but he's a lefty, so that's cool. We're going to be going to Giancarlo Stanton better than plus 230. I mean, some of these numbers. I have the break-even number for Aaron Judge at plus 170. I have the break-even number, right around the plus 230 spot here for Stanton. I've got Juan Soto like at plus 340. Again, I think we get the best price, though, in a hot game environment here in Washington on Stanton. If you want to get confirmation on those home run plays, which I I've heard I'm doing okay on this season. Well, it shows so on my sheet too. 50% off using promo code Lindy50. It includes the daily picks and the premium Discord. I was in there on Sunday. Not a crazy big card by any means. Had a little round robin that got completely torched. But again, it's just like $1 that you should be throwing in on those. It ended up being like less than $75 of exposure. It's whatever. Who cares about that? You want to jump in for those daily picks and the opportunity to see the home run plays, the K-props that, again, last Tuesday, go 3-0 just on a whim. Nobody talks about it. It's okay. It's okay. But hey, I have happy subs in there. I think you will be a happy sub in there as well. Plus, you can talk shit to me, which is kind of fun for some people. OS Marketplace is now live down at the link below. Use promo code Lindy50, $10 for your first week, $25 for your first month. Would love to see you there, hanging out with me. And hey, NFL, 2 weeks, let's go. Back to the picks. Who, darling? Oh, you want to talk runs? Let's talk runs. Now, this is the spot that I think is the most interesting, and producer Jake was asking me before the show, Eric, what the hell is going on here? Let's talk through what is going on with the suspended game because of weather, Toronto and Boston. They are going to be picking up. It is a split doubleheader of sorts. They're going to start up at 2:05 Eastern Time, 11:05 Pacific. Their game on August 26th, that was the one from Wednesday night. June 26th, I believe. There we go. Those are the exact numbers. Now, the fun part of this conversation is Danny Jansen was the batter when the game was suspended for the Toronto Blue Jays. He is now presumed to be catching the at-bat he was a part of for the Boston Red Sox, which I guarantee you this has never happened in Major League Baseball history. This is just like unprecedented cool thing. So I'm going to be watching this a little bit. There is that morning doubleheader. I'm definitely going to be watching Kansas City and Cleveland as well, but wanted to talk you through that. Why does this matter? Well, bullpen usage, same thing we just got done talking about, where there are very, very important bullpen pieces from both teams that I want to see the usage of in that pickup game, because it counts the exact same as the evening game. But on that point, I see nines still available here. Maybe they're juiced up to minus 115, minus 120. Don't really care. 9.5, minus 105 or better. You're firing this up. Actually, I would be firing this up to minus 112. So got to tell you, advantageous spot to be getting an over for Jose Berrios and Nick Pivetta. Now, Berrios has shown out, had some better spots, but Boston, wind blowing out, nice humidity numbers. I think we're going to be getting these Boston Red Sox lefties in fine order against Berrios. As for Pivetta, well, he has the strikeout stuff. Not a ton of lefties to really give up power there, but you got Vlad Guerrero Jr. You got some righties here on the Toronto side you got to be careful of as well. So I'm on the over. I think you should be too. Just Fenway Park playing out of control this year. Atlanta at Minnesota, and Max Fried, Bailey Ober. It's over for over. Over and over. No, there's no jokes to be made here. There's no joke in general here. I think Max Fried, this is a wild price to be looking at. Even money up against my Twins. Now, Royce Lewin's got a maintenance day on Sunday. We end up blowing it in the ninth inning, so it wasn't really his fault no matter what. Would have been nice to maybe have Royce out there on Sunday, but he had played 5 consecutive games. He'll be back in the lineup on Monday against a lefty, no doubt about it. But I don't really love our lineup construction against lefties here of late. We're going to have guys like Kyle Farmer and Manuel Margot and just like subpar hitters that I just don't really want to have on our lineup on a day in, day out basis. But I must say, it's still a spot with Bailey Ober pitching much, much better than I've given him credit for. Probably should have backed him more at times this season, even though kind of been bailed out in a situation here and there where it just didn't necessarily. Yeah. Again, sometimes the bets that you don't make can hurt just as bad. Sometimes you want to avoid making bad bets. I think Atlanta is a semi-decent bet. I've got this as like 2% expected ROI. I'm going to keep it off the card as a lean purely because Braves are starting to come alive, as you would expect them to. I mean, Michael Harris sounds like he's good with the X-rays. Does he end up in this lineup? Lots to be sorted out with this one. If I miss the party on it, I'll be just fine. Now, San Diego, this is a wild thing. Again, the Mets, 2-0 in the 8th. Give up a bond to Profar, and then the walk-off for Jackson Merrill. Congratulations to him. Hopefully wins National League Player Rookie of the Year, that is. Those are the ones that Aton has the massive tickets on. I have a couple of them sitting in like the plus 400 range. It's now shifted to Jackson Merrill being the favorite, which makes me very, 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 very happy. But they have to go from San Diego and having to use Hoeing for like an inning and a half, basically, or an inning and 2/3, coming in there in relief of Martin Perez, who They got him out of there early. That ended up working out really, really nicely. High leverage spot, utilized their good bullpen arms. And now you're going to be heading into San Diego, potentially putting Randy Vasquez on the mound. And oh my God, do I love to pick on Randy Vasquez. And it'd be especially good if we get some bullpen usage where, you know, you can't go to those main dudes. Again, they ended up using Brian Hoeing. They ended up using everybody across the line. And Michael King didn't give them as much length on Saturday there. The Mets going completely ballistic there. There were some interesting games in that series for sure. But Kyle Gibson, kind of want to pick on him too. Going to be looking at the over when we get this total dropping. If it's 8, fire it. 8.5, I got to see the VIG. But overall, I think St. Louis team total ladder, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. If San Diego is going to be shortened with the bullpens and they're traveling and it's decent enough hitting weather there, and I like the St. Louis lineup, I think there's a lot of reasons that you should be looking at this team total ladder. If you want to know if I fire it up, hop into that Discord down below. Really good stuff. Hey, in the meantime, let's talk about Bet365. Check it out, my friends. Pennsylvania Lodge, bet 5, get 150 in bonus bets and 50 spins on the old virtual slot machine. Not a whole lot to add here. It just got added in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. It's available. Arizona, it's available. Iowa, it's available. Bet365 available in a lot of states now. Check it out. If it's available in your state down below, take advantage of their welcome offers. For Pennsylvania, I know you get bet 5, get 150 in bonus bets and 50 spins on the virtual slots. Take advantage now. Only for 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks. The most hottest hidden safety in league. Yeah, you know, it's Ty Madden. I was going to do a Madden joke. I didn't know where to go with that, so I went to the Darren Sharper. Put the team on his back, though. We got ourselves Dean Martin on the other, or sorry, Davis Martin. That's funny, Dean Martin. It'd be awesome to see. I got the world on a string. No, that's Frank Sinatra. Anyway, we've got Madden and Martin and two baseball teams that are not very good, but plus 128 here. I know the White Sox have had the worst xFIP amongst bullpens in all of baseball over the last month and the entire season. It's been horrible. And they got rid of Michael Kopech, who all of a sudden can be fantastic for the Dodgers. So great job, Chicago. You continue to find new ways to be miserable and make your fan base miserable. But the AL Central's hard enough, so my Twins will take it. As for Madden on the other side, broke down some of his stuff here. I think he's okay. He's the Tigers' 16th prospect. MLB pipe rank, it's whatever. They think it's okay, but I went through his AAA numbers with the Toledo Mud Hens, and they are not pretty, friends. Not pretty at all. 8 ERA, 1.77 whip, and we're getting plus money on the White Sox side. I think blindly, you could take a look at it. I think we can wait, though. I think we might get a little bit better. People love to bet against the White Sox, and I know Detroit's lineup exponentially better, especially now that they have a lot of pieces healthy, and Spencer Torkelson has a pulse. But I'm going to wait. I'm just calling it a lean for now. Let it be known. This is why you should be listening to the analysis rather than just looking at this. If this gets north of plus 135, we are firing it for sure. 2 games left. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bells. We talk Edward Cabrera, and I believe Ryan Feltner comes off the IL for this one. He got up to 48 pitches in a AAA game a couple of days ago. I'm not positive about it, but just doing a quick Twitter search or X search or whatever you want to call it search, found myself onto some different Ryan Feltner news where he could potentially be the guy who gets activated for this ball game. Wouldn't be long for it, and that's where I'm going to be a little bit concerned with some of the numbers here because, well, Miami, I kind of want to attack it, but Colorado, they have a terrible pen. They're going back into altitude. It's going to be a game that probably shoots out 2 very bad teams in Miami and Colorado, but 2 Miami bats to give some love to. Jake Berger, obviously, but those prices have gotten to like ridiculous levels now. He was sitting at like plus 300 and people were betting that and sending me bet slips in Miami. Now, if you get that in Colorado, we can probably look a little bit better. And if you want to fire up Jake Berger at those type of numbers, sweet. But I think Jesus Sanchez is the guy who gets a little bit undervalued as a result. Batting cleanup here routinely, heads to altitude, and he's hitting the ball harder than Jake Berger. 53% hard hit, 491 expected slugging. He doesn't always add the loft, but Ryan Feltner, right around a 13-degree launch angle over his last couple of big league seasons, down to 11 degrees this season. But you work through his pitch mix, and Jesus Sanchez should have some fun here in this one. So I'm going to just call him for a homer. I know a lot of people want those double homers here, but Giancarlo Stanton, feel pretty good about that one at his projected numbers. O'Neal Cruz, I think that's an interesting one based on lineup order, but Jesus Sanchez, I think is a full go as long as it's Feltner. As long as we get confirmation he's going to be in there for over 50 pitches. If you they don't. I'm assuming he's probably going to anyway. And then the last part of this, I think you're going to get a lot better numbers than Jake Berger, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out tomorrow. Anything better than 3 hundo is on. And our last game of the night, this one's super straightforward. Ryan Pepio and Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller, not somebody that I go out of my way to back too actively in these spots. Now, Seattle ends up having an interesting day on Sunday. Robbie Ray ends up getting injured in that one. They win a close 4-3 ball game. But they got decent enough length from Brian Wu here, and I think they're going to get decent enough length yet again from Bryce Miller to set things up for this bullpen that at times this season has struggled. Obviously firing a manager, maybe the switch is flipped, but Ryan Pepio really good in his own regard. 222 expected batting average, 26.2% K rate, and yes, gets that Seattle matchup that we know, that we love, that we target for the strikeouts on a day in, day out basis. So for me, I think they're both going to find a little bit of success here. And obviously, I was waiting to see this official number. It just popped on before the show, and 7.5. There's no 7.5s right now. It's all 7 across my board. As long as it doesn't get to 6.5, I wouldn't want 6.5 even money. But at 7 minus 110, very, very happy to have this on the card here. I think this game stays very short here. Tampa routinely finding ways to get things done with like a smattering of bullpen arms and here and there, but obviously phenomenal pitchers park here on Monday. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely Monday slate. My air conditioner went out on me, so I am going to get the heck up out of here before I fry. Thank you, producer Jacob. Thank you, Bet365. Only for 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. And again, the marketplace also available if you guys want to sign up. Lindy50. Lindy50 gets you 50% off your first week or your first month. Awesome stuff. Daily picks, premium Discord. I'm going to be in there hanging out. Also going to be on Kyle Kerm's show tomorrow, breaking down some MLB at 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully catch you there. Alrighty, y'all. Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Monday. Holy God. Gotta get out of here.